Hello mga kasipnayan! Welcome sa ating bagong video lesson. Kung bago ka pa lang sa channel ko, mag-subscribe ka na ngayon. You may also click the notification bell so you will be updated sa mga susunod kong mga video lesson. Ako si Sir Jhomz at samahan niyo akong muli sa paglalayag natin sa kaalaman ng Sipnayan. So, kapit ka lang, focus at huwag kang bibitaw. Let's go! Okay, so our topic for today is about estimating a population proportion by constructing confidence intervals. Yang estimating a population proportion, that is our point estimate or also known as sample proportion. And yung ating estimate intervals, that is actually the confidence intervals. Okay, so let's begin with the point estimate. It is being denoted as P hat. That's how you read it, okay? P hat. And it is equals to X over N. Okay, X is the number of successes or yung mga nagsasabi ng yes, okay, or favorable response, that's X, while N is the sample size. Okay, now if X is the number of successes, therefore to determine the number of failures, okay, number of failures. So if X is the number of successes, now the number of failures is N minus X. Yan. So we will just subtract the number of successes to the sample size. Okay, and that's the number of failures. Now to determine the sample proportion of failures, okay, sample proportion of failures, that is actually Q hat. Okay, that's how you read it, Q hat. And Q hat is equals to 1 minus P hat. Okay, so ayan. Now let's proceed to estimate intervals. So dito aalamin lang muna natin yung mga formulas or equations na dapat natin magamit bago tayo magbigay ng example later on. Okay? So, confidence interval, okay, is actually equals to P hat minus N plus of the margin error. Okay, so P hat plus N minus margin error, and that's our confidence intervals. Now, what is margin error? Okay, margin error is actually the product of Z critical values and the standard error. Okay, so unahin muna natin siguro yung standard error. Okay, what is standard error? Standard error is the estimated standard deviation of parameter P, and it is the square root of P hat times Q hat all over N, or the sample size. So, ayun yung formula ng standard error. Now, for the Z critical values, actually the critical values is the values that separates from region area to tail region, and the formula of this is Z sub A over 2 or Z sub alpha over 2. Yan, we will just multiply them, yan, the critical values and standard error, to get the margin error. Now, how to get the Z sub alpha over 2? So remember that alpha is the significance level, and the formula of alpha is actually 1 minus confidence interval. Oh, confidence level. Yan, sorry. Okay, CL, confidence level. Now, saan manggagaling ang confidence level na yan? Yan ay given sa problem. So, kung ano man yung given na confidence level, ima-minus lang natin yun sa 1 to get the alpha. And since in our Z critical values, alpha is over 2, so we will divide alpha by 2. So, alpha over 2. So, whatever the difference between the 1 and the confidence level, we will also divide it by 2. Okay? So, yan. After nating makuha yung ating alpha over 2, and to find the value of z-score, we will be using the z-table. Okay? Para makuha natin yung exact value ng z-critical values. Okay? So, gagamit tayo ng z-table dito. Okay? Para makuha natin yung value ng z-critical value. Okay? Yan. Pag nakuha na natin yon, i-multiply lang natin sa standard error, makukuha na natin yung margin error. Okay? So, standard error, madali lang naman. I-multiply lang natin yung p hat and q hat, i-divide by n, then square root, ayun yung standard error. Okay? So, let's have an example. Okay. In a job satisfaction survey in a certain mall, 500 employees were asked if they were satisfied with their jobs. There were 420 who responded with a yes. Find the following values with 95% confidence level. So, ano ba yung mga hanapin natin? A, point estimate. Point estimate is actually the P hat. Okay? So, that's the value of P hat. Next is the sample proportion of failure, and that is our Q hat. Okay? And the lower limit, the upper limit, the confidence intervals, and finally, the interpretation. Okay. So, kung ano yung mga lower limit and upper limit na yan, I'm going to explain that later on pag nagsosolve na tayo. Okay? And also the confidence intervals. So, now, let's solve this problem. Okay? Solutions. Okay, sulat natin yung given. Again, yung n is the sample size and that is 500. Now, for the favorable response or sumagot na mga yes, the number of successes, which is x, is 400. Okay. And ano pa ba? Yung ating confidence level, that is also given. That is 95%. Okay, so ano yung mga hinahanap natin? A, the point estimate, okay, or the sample proportion. Okay, point estimate or sample proportion, that is our p hat, and the formula is x over n. So we'll just simply substitute the given data. So our x is 420, n is 500. So i-divide natin yan, and that is 0.84 or 84%. Okay, so that is our p hat. Okay? Now for letter B, what are we looking for here is the q hat or the sample proportion of failures. Okay. Again, that is q hat, and the formula is equals to 1 minus p hat. Okay. So, we have already the p hat. Isusubtract lang natin yun sa 1. So, q hat equals 1 minus 0.84. Okay. Q hat is equals to 1 minus 0.84, that is 0.16 or 16%. Ayan, i-box natin para madali nating mahanap mamaya yung mga gagamitin natin sa final solution. Okay, so we have P hat and Q hat. Okay. Now we will be getting the confidence interval. Okay. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, confidence intervals is the sum and difference or plus and minus of P hat and then the margin error. Okay. And again, yung margin error, sinabi ko na kanina, that is actually the sum of the Z critical values and the standard error. Okay? So, kailangan natin makuha yung ating Z critical values at saka yung ating standard error. Yan. So, itong dalawa na to ang gagamit natin para makuha natin yung margin error. Okay? So, i-multiply lang natin silang dalawa once na na-solve na natin yung Z critical values and standard error. Unahin natin tong Z critical values na ang notation ay Z sub A over 2 or alpha over 2. Now, alpha is equals to 1 minus confidence level. Okay? So, our confidence level here is 95%. So, 1 minus 0.95. Okay, therefore, our alpha here is 0.05. Okay. And again, since alpha is being divided by 2, that's part of the formula. So, we have to divide alpha by 2 and also the 0.05 by 2. And that is 0.025. Ayan. Pag dinivide ninyo yung 0.5 by 2, the quotient is 0.025. At itong value na to ang hahanapin natin sa ating Z table. Okay? So, we will use Z table para makuha natin yung Z critical values. Okay, one moment. Ayan. So, this is our Z table. Kaso medyo maliit yata. Ibaba ko tong camera para mas malinaw nyong makita. Ayan, okay, so this is what are we going to find, the 0.025. That is actually the area. So hanapin natin dito. Ayan, 0.02. Sa kabila yata. Ayan dito 2.8 mataas, baba natin 2.28 2.8 2.74 2.5 there 0.0250. Ayan, so ito yung hinahanap natin. So ganyan ang paggamit ng Z table. Hanapin niyo yung area na yan, tapos yung nasa leftmost column niya, that is 1.9. Okay? Tsaka yung nasa taas niya 0.06. So pag pinagsama natin sila na yung magiging value ng ating Z critical values, and that is 1.96. So our Z sub alpha over 2 is 1.96. Ayan. So, ayan na, 1.96. Kita nyo naman, 1.9. Tapos, sa taas niya ay 0.06. So, pag pinag-add natin sila, that's 1.96. Okay, so now we have already the Z critical values. Okay? So, ang hahanapin na lang natin ngayon ay ang standard error. Ayan. Balik ko muna yung camera para mas kita nyo lahat ng solutions. Okay. So, box din natin to, no? Ayan na yun. Okay. medyo malabo pa. Yan. So, we have already the Z critical values. Now, let's proceed with the standard error, okay? Now, standard error, ang formula natin ay square root of P hat times Q hat all over N. So, madali lang to. Isa-substitute lang natin yung mga given values. So, our P hat is 0.84. Okay, and our Q hat is 0.16. Yan. And our N is 500. Yan. So first, we will get the product of the numerator. So 0.84 times 0.16. Okay. Tapos, i-divide natin sa 500. Okay. So, ayan. Kuha muna tayo ng calculator para mas makita natin. Masigurado natin yung value. Sige, pakita ko sa inyo. 0.84 times 0.16 equals 0.1344. Okay, yan linawan ko lang po at medyo malabo na. Yan, 0.1344, then divided by 500. Divide natin sa 500. And there you have it. That is square root of 0.0002688. Okay. Yan, dalawang 8. Yan, okay. Tapos, square root na natin sila para mukha na natin yung standard error. Okay, so square root of, okay, one moment. Yan, square root of 0.0002688. Okay, so the standard error is 0.01639. So, gawin na natin 4. Okay, i-round up na natin yung 4th digit. Okay, so ayan. So, now we have already the standard error. Meron na rin tayong Z critical values. I-multiply natin silang dalawa to get the margin error. Okay. So, margin error equals 1.96 times 0.0164. Yan. So, solve natin yung product nito kasi yun yung ating magiging margin error na idadagdag naman natin sa ating P hat para makuha natin yung confidence intervals. Okay. Okay, so 1.96 times 0.0164. Alright. So our margin error is 0.0321. Okay. Maximum 4 digits daw po kasi. Ayan, box natin. So we have already the margin error. So ang gagawin na lang natin dito, ipa-plus at ipa-minus natin sa P hat para makuha natin yung confidence intervals. Okay, ayan yung P hat. Okay, gamit tayo ng bagong board. So, continuation of solution. Okay, so ang ating margin error ay 0.0321. Bigyan natin muna natin yung mga given para mabilis. And our P hat is 0.84. Ayan. So, ilan naman yung dalawang value na kailangan natin para makuha yung confidence interval. Alright, so confidence intervals is is equals to P hat plus and minus margin error. Yan. So, ipapalit lang po natin. P hat is 0.84 plus and minus, and our margin error is 0.0321. Yan. Okay? So, para sa unang interval, pag pinag-plus natin sila, 0.84 minus, pag pinag-minus pala natin, kunin muna natin yung minus kasi yun yung ating lower limit. 0.84 minus 0.0321. Okay, 321 equals. Alright, we have 0.8079 or 80.79%. Ayan. So, dahil nag-minus tayo, ayan yung tinatawag nating lower limit. Okay. How about the addition of P hat and then the margin error? So, 0.84 plus 0.0321. So, pag pinag-plus natin to, mas lalaki to. So, ito naman yung tinatawag nating upper limit. Okay? So, our final answer is 0.8721 or 87.21%. Okay, and that is our upper limit. Alright, sa box ulit natin para pag gumawa tayo ng confidence intervals ay mas madali natin silang makita. Okay, so balikan natin yung problem. Nakuha na natin yung point estimate. Check na tayo dito. Sample proportion of failure, which is Q hat, nakuha na rin natin. Okay. Now, we have lower limit and upper limit. Ayan. So, confidence intervals na lang tsaka interpretation. Ano? Okay. So, for the confidence intervals, okay. Oh, anyway, ito yung ating P hat. Okay, ito yung ating Q hat. So, para sa letter A and letter B. Okay. So, ngayon, kukunin natin ang, this is CI. Kamali lang ako ng sulat. It should be CI, which means confidence intervals. Okay. So, yan. Na-solve na natin to. Alright. So, ayan yung ME. Okay, yun yung P hat. Value ng P hat. Okay, minus at pinag-plus natin. Silang dalawa. So, yung mababa, that's lower limit, at yung mataas ay upper limit. Okay. Now is the confidence interval. Yan. So, confidence intervals. Actually, we have two ways of writing the confidence interval. Okay? First one is, yan, isa-set form nyo lang. Una nyo susulat yung maliit na value, yung lower limit, which is 80.79%, then separated by comma symbol. Then next is the upper limit. So, 87.21. Then, enclosed by parenthesis. Ayan. Ganyan lang. Okay? Yung isang way naman, paano isusulat yung confidence interval. So, gagamit tayo dito ng greater than and less than symbol. So, our point estimate is greater than 80.79% but less than to 87.21%. Yan. So, ayan. Greater than 80.79 but less than to 87.21%. So, alin man dyan sa dalawa ang gawin yung pagsulat ng sagot ay okay lang. Okay? Pero para mas madali yung nasa taas. Yung hiwalay lang ng kama. Okay. So ngayon naman is the interpretation. Paano natin i-interpret yung ating solution? Okay, so the 95% confidence level that the population proportion, population proportion alright, lies between 80.79% and 87.21%. And there you have it. Okay? So, ganyan lang kadali mag-estimate ng population proportion at kumuha ng confidence intervals. I hope you learned something. Thank you. Okay? Bye.